Poppets, or Voodoo lore, created, directed, and presented by Reverend Dr. Dikki Jo Mullen. In this video, Dr. Mullen will look at Poppets, or what some refer to as Voodoo dolls, and discuss the lore behind them, which is a mix of light and dark.
This is astrologer and paranormal investigator Dr. Dikki Jo Mullen coming to you with information about Poppets, a voodoo doll by any other name. Making Poppets is a type of sympathetic magic that goes back to prehistoric times. The gist of this kind of magical working is to direct energy into an image or object in order to perform an action to create a desired result. For example, Stone Age hunters might have placed the horns and skin of a deer, forming an image of the deer, actually a primitive poppet, near a tribal fire, while they would be pretending to dance around it to hunt and kill the image of the deer. And this would be to build the energy for the actual upcoming hunt. The remains of the animal would become a type of doll or puppet. This idea was that the drama would foreshadow success in the future. The first actual puppet might have appeared in ancient Egypt during the reign of Ramesses III, a pharaoh whose subjects absolutely detested him. Many hated this pharaoh so much to wish him dead, and they began to construct doll-like images of him, which they could hang or burn. This intent, which has been consistent through the ages, defines sympathetic magic. Thousands of years later, in England, in the 1600s, November 5th became Guy Fawkes Day, and it's celebrated still today to commemorate a foiled plot to destroy the government, to blow up the House of Commons and kill King James I. And fortunately, Guy Fawkes was found out, and ever since then, bonfires, fireworks, and images, even though Guy Fawkes is long, whichever way he went, up or down after death, is gone, they're still burned. And this phrase, to burn in effigy, to burn something in effigy, reflects the same idea of destroying something or someone in absentia in order to reflect sympathetic magic. The destruction of his puppet suggests that everyone still wishes that Guy Fawkes burn on in the afterlife. A very good friend talked about an unfair high school teacher in California in the 1960s that humiliated him. So he went to, I think it was the Hallmark store, used to have voodoo dolls, or damn it dolls they called them, and they were actually commercially produced. And he stuck a pin in this teacher's elbow, just intending to give her tennis elbow. It's a good thing he didn't put it in her heart or brain. Who knows what could have happened, because she developed a serious arm malady, like a tennis elbow, that I think lasted through the rest of the school year. So be careful what you do with sympathetic magic. Just make sure if you decide to use a puppet that the intent is what you really want. Commonly linked with voodoo dolls, which are a type of puppet, the physical doll image has acquired a sinister reputation. Associated with mysterious Caribbean or African rituals, many believe that they are evil, used only to create a curse and cause harm. However, that's far from the entire story. Puppets, or voodoo dolls, are just as often used for healing, prosperity, and love rituals. A lot of people who do Reiki will hold a symbolic doll or teddy bear to do absent healing when they can't get to actually do the Reiki ceremony or ritual of healing over someone who needs healing. The ancient Greeks created puppets called kolos. Kolossos actually is the way to pronounce it. When made in pairs and bound together, the kolossos were intended to protect a love bond. The Greeks also used them to bind and control dangerous ghostly spirits. One thing is certain, Whether intended for good or not, poppets are extremely powerful tools for focusing spiritual energies toward a desired outcome. Poppets are nice because they're portable. They're made ahead of time, and then they can be carried easily by those involved on the mystical path toward a target to be employed later or at a comfortable distance, whatever works. These magical dolls can be fashioned from a variety of materials: yarn, cloth, paper, sticks and straw, even aluminum foil and clay. They're all good choices. Incorporating an appropriate stone, herb, or wax from a burning ritual candle will add to and enliven the effect of the sympathetic magic carried by the poppet. The main thing is to concentrate, though, to really focus on the intended subject while constructing the poppet. Speak its name aloud and talk to it. It isn't essential to be a really great artist. Just a basic figure resembling a human form will work fine. Some practitioners will incorporate a relic from the target into a poppet. This can be hair, a nail clipping, maybe a small photograph, a business card, or a piece of an article of clothing. A mystic from Germany once described how to make a protection poppet to halt an aggressive person. Her technique won't cause harm, but it's just intended to stop undesired contact. It works really well. Complete the image and then tie its arms close to the body. Then place the doll in the freezer. This is putting someone on ice. Once the threat has passed, go ahead and bury the poppet. That'll put the volatile situation on ice permanently. To make a love poppet, a piece of rose quartz can be inserted into the heart cavity of the doll. For healing, try stuffing the poppet with a medicinal herb, such as peppermint. This relieves pain and has been called the aspirin of the herb world. Green wax and a few coins or a bill inserted into a poppet can improve a job-related issue. Experiment with colors and materials. And once through, the doll can be carried with you and can use to project the desired intent. When the whole situation is over, thank the poppet, gently dismantle it, and bury the remains. Don't ever use the same poppet for more than one person or situation. This is a poppet that I made for healing long ago, someone that I cared about very much. And this is a poppet that was also stuffed with healing herbs by a local witch who calls herself the Pointy Hat Lady. This is also one of the Pointy Hat Lady's creations, and this is to represent friendships. This one is for healing. This is a very interesting poppet that the famous science fiction writer, before she passed away, Andre Norton, made for animal issues. Andre Norton, who wrote The Moon of Three Rings and many other really interesting, lovely science fiction books. Lavender Green Magic is another one. Was a neighbor of mine here in Orlando, very interested in animal-related subjects, and she made this poppet, and it's stuffed with herbs in order to protect animals. We brought her out of hiding to use during rituals to stop the bear hunt here in Florida. Would it have been stopped anyway, or did the poppet work? Who knows? One never really knows if they say the teacher would have gotten a bad tennis elbow anyway. But it just seems as if there's a wide correlation between will, the power of the mind, and sympathetic magic. Most of us use less than 5% of our brain power, and Einstein might use 5%. The idea here is that intent on tapping the hidden qualities of the mind and focus is the secret to making this sympathetic magic work. These poppets all came from Louisiana, the land of voodoo. These two were made by Pearline, a famous voodoo queen in Shreveport, Louisiana, and she makes little purses with beans in them. This one has beans in it for good luck, and this one for health. And she uses clay from the Red River, and then also southern pine for the body. This voodoo doll and this one came from New Orleans, and these are from practitioners who work in the Marie Laveau tradition. And this one is the most sinister of the poppets that I have. You'll notice that there's a supply of pins there, and every once in a while when I get upset with someone, I'm tempted to say, I'm going to go stick a few pins in my doll, but I don't quite have the heart to say that because, I think it might be too scary. But that doesn't mean I might not actually do it if someone gets me mad enough. Just joking. Here's our collection of poppets, reminding you that a doll by any other name, a poppet, is still a voodoo doll in its own right. This is astrologer and paranormal investigator Dikki Jo Mullen in Orlando, Florida.